Hi everyone, Lori Marie here, mixed media artist in Vallejo, California. Thank you so much for joining me here today. We are jumping between the Lenormand cards and the hashtag RAOK and an altered book, so lots of things going on. I'm having a blast in this altered book. As I complete the book, I will tell the story. So the story is writing itself as the pages are creating themselves. So very, very fun. All right, nothing more from me. See you on the table. So I'm back in the altered book. I'm going to create some kind of a window or a secret compartment in the back of this book. It won't be very thick, but it'll be someplace to put something. So I'm going to glue all these pages to the back of the book, and I'm dipping into my Mod Podge. So for the first 5 pages or so, glue the whole page down. And then after that, every 3 or 4 pages can get glued down. 1, 2, and 3. I'll glue that down. All right, we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to remove this spine cover from this book. And I'm bringing in, I believe this is called a snippets. I got this from Margaret. And I'm going to recreate a spine with that. I'm going to put tacky glue along that spine. And up into the book a little bit. Bring that snippet in, which is gorgeous. And we will let that dry. Now I'm going to go to the center of a signature. This is already a sturdy page, and I'm going to glue 2 pages together here, 1 and 2. I'm going to put gaffer tape down the center. And cover these 2 pages, this 2-page spread, with underpants. Now this is just 2 pages on this side, sturdy page on this side. I'll put underpants on both. Underpants down, paint it with gesso. Close the pages, massage. Open them up, enjoy the texture, and let that dry. Now I am making sure that this book is very, very strong, so I'm going to drill a hole here, here, and here, and do a 3-hole binding through this spine. Now every background in this book starts off the same with the underpants and the gesso and the texture. And then this color, which is bright aqua green, diluted and painted over the pages. Let that dry. When that's dry, I'm bringing in the Van Dyke Brown Hue, also an acrylic. Dilute that a little bit and paint those pages. And let those dry. While that's drying, I'm bringing in a piece of cardboard that I've used as texture in the Random Acts of Kindness project. And I'm going to treat it just like I've treated the pages. So I'll let that dry, and then I'll hit it with the brown, the Van Dyke's Brown Hue. Let that dry. When the pages and the cardboard are dry, bring in 60 grit sandpaper and sand these down. Now, as we all know, I'm terrible about drawing circles, so I'm going to trace around this. This is my gaffer tape. I'm just going to trace around that and then cut this circle out. And this is the textured cardboard. This is 2 pages glued together for that sturdy page. I'm going to just cut a little something something out of the top here. I'm going to cut this smaller half circle out. Even a little bit smaller than that. Let's see how that works. I think that'll be okay. I have an idea, I'm just not quite sure how to execute it. So I'm taking you on the journey with me as usual. So I'm going to place this circle in here. Bring my crocodile in. Maybe I'll do it this way. Put it on the outside where it's going to be. Then I'm going to punch a hole in the middle with my smaller hole punch in my crocodile. Then I'll go back in and make this a larger hole. I'm going to install an eyelet there. Make some circles. Create some half circles. Just going to cut off the excess paper here around that little half circle that I made. Let that dry for a moment. I'm going to glue some half circles around the edge of this circle too. We'll trim off the excess when we're done. I'm going to bring in a little bit of gold. These are the metallics from Arteza. Dilute that a bit and drag it over the semicircles and the page. And then also on my circle. And we'll let everything dry. I'm going to trim off the excess here. Now these are copies of small cabinet cards that I made, and I am going to cut these handsome young men out. Gluing on them on here so they clearly need to be smaller. I'm going to glue the 4 gentlemen on this round disc. I need to make a template of this circle so I know where to make the window. Okay, I'm going to say the window needs to be about that big. I think that'll show, sorry about that guy, the majority of the face. Bring my book back in. I'm going to draw a dot here. That is where the circle, the center is. Set you aside for a moment. I got a double hole. That's okay. I'm okay with that. That needs to go there. Okay. And this needs to go here. About right there. I think so. About right there. So let's go ahead and trace around that and cut that window out. Bring in my cutting mat and a ruler and an X-Acto. Cut that window out. All right, I went through and trimmed off all the excess. Let's see how this looks. Let's put this guy back in here. Rumbling tummy. And that's going to be great fun. I'm going to put a coat of the gel medium on top of everything and let that dry. Now I have a copy of this man. This is who I used for the Faith Finder. I've increased him by 110% so that he's a little bit bigger, and I'm going to cut him out. All right, I've cut the man's body out. I'm going to glue it underneath the window there. I'm going to put a book page on the back to cover this. I'm going to bring in my Stabilo, go around both sides of the disc, the circle, around the edges. I'm bringing in a piece of acetate and I'm going to cut around that circle. Pop a hole in the center there with the big hole. Install our circle in our book. Let's see what a fun story we can tell here. That's pretty darn good. Pretty darn good. Now we have to find Our Lady. I made a print of her earlier. I just don't know where she is. I have to find her. All right, I'm going to put my lady together. And put her on the page. While my lady's drying, I'm going to drill 3 holes in here and put some binding in there to keep this book strong. So this is the back of the turning disc. I'm going to take 2 pages on this side, 1, 2, and glue them together, make a strong piece, and we'll attach that there. Bring in my tacky glue, and I'm going to seal those pages together, hopefully leaving enough room for the spinner to spin. All right, I'm going to let that dry. Go walk Mr. Hudson. I'm going to bring in my Stabilo, go around the semicircles, my focal points, and all the edges. Bring in my compressed white charcoal, lighten up the background a little bit. Bring some of that texture forward. I'm going to doodle some. And ta-da! So she's picking a husband. Which one will she pick? Oh my goodness. So much fun. All right, your turn. Go create, go play, go have fun.